I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, did everybody have a chance to review the agenda?
I did. I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting?
I would move to approve the minutes from the August 4th meeting.
For second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the August 4th meeting. Is there any further discussion? Do you have two sets of meeting minutes here, Malcolm?
Yeah, one has been approved previously or signed, but the meeting minute book got dropped and then that set of minutes actually got torn.
Okay.
I won't replace the scanned copy, so the scanned copy online will stay the same.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Did everybody have a chance to review the vouchers?
Yeah, I went through the vouchers. I got all my questions answered.
Well, I would move to approve the vouchers.
I'd second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the vouchers. Is there any further discussion?
The only one I just want to bring up is that first one, Action Communications. That's 40% of our radio tower,
That's what I thought.
which we have shipping confirmation on.
No date change.
I didn't say that, but
Okay, any further discussion on the vouchers? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I think Marty steals my pens.
are you out?
No, just the Thames. Big old fat wet ink slobber. There's a jet.
Okay, we have a sick leave donation request.
Here you go. It's a 138 hours to transfer from 3 employees to 1 to allow an employee to be out on maternity leave.
Three employees to one. For a total of 138 hours.
No, I would move to approve sick leave donation from 3 employees to 1 for a total of 138 hours.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve a sick leave donation from 3 employees to 1 for 138 hours. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Yeah, that is a brick.
Morning, Christie.
Good morning.
What do you have for us this morning?
I don't have a lot. I'm just gonna let you know that our sales tax came in very well. I also, there's a procedure in my office though I want you guys to be aware of. Every time I transfer money between the savings account and the general fund, it shows up as a receipt on your receipts. But then you'll see it again as a disbursement at the end of the month. So what brought that to mind is you have several large vouchers today. We're like at enough that I'm gonna have to transfer out of our savings. So you see that weekly in the receipts, but you don't see it till the end in the disbursements. So it makes the receipts look like we have more money coming in, but we're just transferring our own money. It balances at the end of the month with the receipts and the disbursements, but it does make your receipts, like I'll move 600,000 today, so it'll show on your receipts. The ones that I send you next week, that there was a $600,000 receipt, but it was just from us to us.
So it looks really good, but it's really not.
It looks really good, but then the disbursements look really bad, and so you just have to balance. Yeah, I just wanted to make you aware that that's what the procedure is. I have to show it going into the transfer account to be able to.
You're just going from here to here. and
It's, yeah, but, I just have to show it that
Because,
way.
yeah, the vouchers are abnormally,
We have quite a few
Uh-huh.
between the scarf and the renovation ones that we had coming through. I need to make sure that we have plenty, but we're trying to maximize our interest, so I leave it over there.
as long as you can.
Yeah, Malcolm said that if it was above $1,000, he would move it, but I'm a little more scared than that, so I leave it. But we try to keep it relatively low because the interest we make on the savings is 3 times as much as what we make in our general fund. So
Yeah, because when you look at these, you got Samson, you got the chip seal deal. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a couple of home runs right there.
couple of big ones, and so
Uh-huh.
it just brought it to mind that I just wanted to, you see it weekly with the receipts, but you don't see that disbursement until the very end of the month. And so, besides that, I don't have much to report. Is there anything that you guys have for us?
Like it was a good month for sales tax.
It was a good month for sales tax, and my new employee started on the 27th. Thank you very much. He's coming up to speed very quickly. He even got to come help with the election, so we're trying to immerse him in all the things all of a sudden. But he's doing very well, very personable, and just
Trial
wants
by
to do
fire.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
And people were very kind out at the election. People came prepared, and they were kind and patient, which was good. So yeah. So, that's all I have to say.
Thanks, Christie.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
As always.
Peter Mule.
Maybe
need to take the elevator.
Yeah.
Okay, we have Don Hale on for Road and Bridge discussion.
Morning,
Don.
gentlemen. Thanks for the time. I'm sure you guys got this pretty well figured out more or less, but my concern is when we promote from inside to move up, sometimes we drag along some bad habits. And I'm sure you're trying to come up with a good superintendent, but I kind of hope you
Is that-
don't rush it.
Are you here to apply?
No.
Yeah.
But you could.
Come on, Dave.
I got a lot of things, you know what, I'm retiring. I got a sawmill. I got a sawmill. I like cutting the boards and making pretty boards. I'm sure you're trying, but is there can we reach out to other counties and see if they have somebody that maybe is qualified to, the superintendent says, hey, I got a guy, he's looking for something like this. I don't know, but,
We can advertise where we can advertise. And,
yeah. I don't know if search engines will help or what, but,
I've reached out to some people in some other places, let them know that we have openings. If there's people they know of that would be interested in these type of jobs.
yeah, I know, sometimes I don't think we have to get in a hurry, because I think Beal can handle it for a while.
Bill's
If they're
retired.
Oh, no.
Bill's
Oh,
last,
boy, we're batting 1,000 here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Bill's last day was
Yeah.
actually last Thursday.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he'd been planning on retiring.
Oh, yeah, he's been,
Yeah. So, what's your plan of attack, Don?
Well, Malcolm, he could probably feel it. I don't know, you're gonna have to kind of get a, yeah, I don't know. I didn't think Beal was out that, I figured, well, he's good for the summer maybe, or we could get him for another few weeks till we get somebody.
Yeah.
No, wow.
So, yeah,
Looks like you're up.
Beal
Well,
and
you know,
Chris
Don,
are
it's a-
both done Friday. So,
It's a big decision for, us and whoever the applicant would be and
Oh, yeah.
whatnot. And, we've got people that kind of fill in, walk the walk until, a little time goes by to where we could maybe find somebody, whether it's from within or whether it's not. Because there's a lot of thought has to go into that.
Oh, yeah, it's a pretty good job, I mean, there's a lot to it.
Well, good job, thankless job,
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards.
I mean,
It's
in
it's
the
a lot.
past, Jim Watson used to call me up and say, I'm so tired of this cell phone. He's sick of it, because you got people coming up from Colorado or whatever, they want everything, and the county can't do that. We know the county doesn't have a lot of cash, so.
Well, they want an 80-mile-an-hour airplane runway for their gravel road, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I know Fletcher Park used to be a goat trail, and now I think it's one of the best roads we got, and, you guys spend a lot of time and money on it, and they still complain, so. And
Yeah.
37 years ago when I moved here, that thing was pretty rough, but now you can't help it. I don't know, I just kind of want to see.
I don't think.
I think you guys are on the same page as me. I just want to see us try to get somebody qualified that can maybe bring some new ideas into the mix and stuff. My only biggest complaint is the 410s. I just, in the summertime, perfect. But in the wintertime, it's dark at 6 in the morning. And yeah, snow plowing's great, but if they're here on Friday and you got a storm on Thursday, Wednesday, or whatever, they're here. And then, I do it like I do it. If somebody puts 80 hours in, they get days off. Yeah, go away for a couple of days.
So you got a little bit of an advantage because you got all your kids working for you.
Well, yeah, but the problem is, I still pay them pretty good too.
So I don't think we're gonna hire somebody for just the sake of hiring somebody, and if it takes a little longer to find what we want.
And that's what I want to hear. I want to hear you guys say that
You know, if we have to put somebody in as interim to
perfect.
keep going, and then we're all willing to do what we can do. First thing Monday morning, I was out going up, looking at the road that had washed out and calling Road and Bridge and getting guys scheduled. and
Perfect.
hauled. So we'll do what we can do, and, but I think we want to get the right person for the job, so.
Yeah, I think
And I-
that would be really great.
We haven't talked about it, but I think if we have to put somebody in as interim for a while till we decide exactly what we wanna do. And there's been some talk about maybe restructuring the road and bridge a little bit, and whether we're gonna do that.
Well, I don't think anything's falling apart right now. We're pretty,
There's a
pretty
lot,
safe.
there's a lot to do with all the water on the roads. Like right now,
Yeah.
everybody should be out grading and they should be just going and, all right, we waited all summer for this, let's go out and just focus on this. And that doesn't require a lot of like
You know,
management,
I
it just
think our
requires.
crew does a really good job, you know. The bridge out on, Chug Creek, the state condemned, they had that replaced in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how long does it take YDOT to replace the bridge?
6 years.
Yeah, so, yeah. And then, I mean, it was a reasonable cost too.
Yeah, what helped if we had a bridge deck in the yard, we got an engineer sitting right down there that drew that up and sent it to the state. Got it stamped, okay, otherwise that would've taken how long, Ian?
6 years. Yeah.
So,
oh yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
it'd been on
you know,
their 6 year
that's a
plan.
value that, you know, people need to understand really happened quickly because, you know,
oh yeah.
he's an
I
engineer,
agree.
boom, fill this paperwork out, get on his computer, do what you do, send it to the state, okay, go. And then, you know, the diligent work of the crew down there to get, you know, the footings done and all that goes into that.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing that we end up looking at is similar to the sheriff's deputies. Here's your pay scale,
Yeah,
because that's where we're at, because that's how much money we got. And what they look at is, okay, that's my paycheck, but they don't look at the retirement and they don't look at the insurance because they can't take that to the grocery store.
exactly.
So, you know, they're looking at the pay versus the whole package.
I
And that's
agree.
what people, and people do that. You know, and that handcuffs a little bit.
Well, you know, like you said, you're.
Somebody with this skill
What you
set.
can get, but hopefully we can get something,
Yeah.
you know, so maybe if there's somebody that's got plenty hours in or plenty of days in on another. I mean, a lot of these guys can retire at 40. And, you know, they wanna work till they're 60, 65. So,
Yeah, that's actually, it's kind of the guy that we want there, is the guy who's a little proud of what he does. Because it might be a job where not very many, or very few people don't like it quite fiercely, but I do a good job and I keep the roads open and I plow snow and I move gravel and he likes that. And we've got a really good crew of guys who do that now, that's what drives them. I think you kind of have to have that as a county employee, you know?
oh
There's
yeah,
not much else.
yeah, you pretty much, like you were saying, they're working for that end result for the most part, really.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of cash involved there.
You know, when you got 10 people and all the miles of county road, that's what, 162 per employee when you break it down,
Oh, yeah.
you know? It can be a little overwhelming, you know, for the leader out there to say, man, we try to get here and you can't get here, and then they're put off on this, and then it rains and it don't rain, and, you know, it's a daily struggle to stay on top of some of this stuff.
And I agree fully with you. I'm not here to disagree.
Well, yeah,
I understand what you're saying. You know, I've heard all the people tell me, you know, oh gosh, you know, the superintendent's come, you know, wow, I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that, but there just isn't the funds to do it.
well, the other side of it is you know dirt because you've been doing it,
Yeah.
you know? And there's a value in knowing that.
Well, and that's the kind of guy I think you gotta find, is somebody that's been around the paving and that kind
Kid
of
who's
work.
been playing in the mud since he was 2 years old.
Pardon me?
A kid who's been playing in the mud since he was 2 years old.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, load trucks. Thanks for your time, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
I know everybody's out trying to do the best they can here. I just,
Yeah, if you put the word out with people you know and.
yeah, I'm gonna call a few guys and see what, I know they're coming up on a retirement and they're not that old yet. They just wanna.
Yeah.
Stay busy, so. This might be more busy than they want though. It's hard to.
Sell it.
It's a piece of cake, right?
Piece of cake.
Sell it.
Sell it.
Sell it. Thanks, gentlemen. Nice to see you.
Thanks.
Take care.
Don.
Malcolm, have fun.
So on that, since you have a little bit of time, I had it scheduled for very last, but I think it's a good opportunity. Really, my question is just how long you want me to keep the advertisement open, and if you want me to advertise anywhere else.
So where are you advertising currently?
Honestly, just the website and Facebook, I can put it at Workforce Services if you want.
Can we establish a temporary order of operations while we do them? I think that's probably one thing we owe those guys is who's who.
And I
I think
think we've kind of done that.
Yeah.
Mark's the super, or
Yeah.
foreman, and so he's basically taking the reins, and the rest of the guys are good with that.
Yeah.
And I talked to him over the weekend and then again Monday morning, so.
And with Sheriff's Office, we've put some stuff on LinkedIn, Indeed, something.
I'd say put it everywhere you can put it.
So that'll come with a cost.
That will come with a cost, as in like interviewing the guy who was on his way to clean whatever. I mean, can we screen applicants?
I can't. I mean, I accept all of them and then you guys get to choose.
Can we put a caveat in there that says we reserve the right to screen applicants?
Yeah, I mean, just because you receive an application doesn't mean you have to interview them.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
So I will work on that.
And I know there's 2 positions open and I think, you know, for the maintenance position, mechanics position, I reached out to Jim Mathis at Wyotech and different things, so I don't.
Yeah.
So I'll start advertising and then
Keep it open for 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I think 2 weeks.
But, I mean,
At
if I
least 2 weeks.
put it in
At
the
least 2
paper,
weeks.
I could get it in next week. And then, but do you want me to put an end date to when you're accepting applications
Yeah.
or just until filled?
September
Until filled,
until filled, okay.
I would think. Did Mark give you any indications like, well, I'll do this for, I don't wanna be doing this in 60 days or anything like that? Did he say anything like that?
Okay.
Yeah, but
Doesn't have a problem.
If I don't, do you wanna put a date we're gonna interview? Like the 17th of September?
Do you wanna put a date, you
I
said?
don't know, yeah, do you want to? Would that be a benefit, so it keeps us on track?
Maybe that
I
brings
don't know.
more finality to it than until filled with people, I don't know.
Maybe let's see who we have in a week or two, that would be. You know, because some of these applications, they have a timestamp on them also, it's like, you know,
I'm not sure we get a whole lot advertising locally in the Wheaton paper. I mean, pretty much everybody around here that,
advertising the Gillette paper.
yeah, maybe a paper somewhere where, you know, I think everybody around here knows about it.
Facebook. No.
If there was a paper somewhere where there's heavy industry or Gillette, yeah.
I don't actually. It doesn't.
Of course, I think we're gonna be fighting the same things, so.
Retirement though, those guys might go, I'm sick of, yeah, yes, you're right.
Do you have a budget on what you want me to, how much you want me to advertise, or how do you want me to do that?
What's the ballpark of what you think it'll go?
I have no idea what rates are in other places.
The bigger the paper, the higher the rate.
Yeah.
The bit wider the distribution, the farther out the paper goes, the rates go up. So a larger paper like Gillette is gonna have a higher advertising per inch rate than the Record Times, for example.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that doesn't give you a dollar amount, but just know that.
right,
But you get broader distribution, it'll hit more people, so. You have to balance how many people I want seeing the ad. Yeah.
Let me ask you a little different way. do you want me to prioritize a certain type of advertising over another? Like LinkedIn, Indeed?
To be honest with you, I've gotten absolute crap candidates from LinkedIn, Indeed is especially just terrible. You get dog walkers that are just doing every, they'll apply for anything. So, like, great.
Dog walkers?
You'd be,
I brought
it's
that up because
amazing.
the sheriff's office has had a different perspective on those avenues, I think.
So, I'm gonna partially agree with you.
Criminals don't apply for sheriff's deputies positions, Tony.
There are quite a few that have actually spent more time back there in the detention center than I have. So they're experienced.
Because they're experienced.
15 years.
To the point where you almost worry about them knowing what's going on, so they're not calling their
Yeah.
friends before the cops get there, but I will say we've gotten at least the one off Vinty that's been an excellent hire, and then he brought his, son
Yeah.
down off of that, but it's a crapshoot, right? You
That's
don't know what you're gonna get.
What's the reach on those things? I mean, how far away is
That's
it?
nationwide.
Nationwide?
So we had that one out of Oklahoma that didn't end up panning out, but he started out as a pretty good start. We've had one out of Georgia. We offered a spot to one in North Carolina, decided that it wasn't time for him to move. So I mean, we've had several from all over
I
coming
think
in,
we
so.
got better luck.
And we may be looking at a different type of person too. We're trying to find those lateral transfers that have training experience that can come from other bigger places to help us. I mean, law enforcement in general is kind of the same deal, but when you start thinking about road and bridge, different types of train, different types of equipment,
Yeah.
it might be
And I
different.
think what's appealing to them is they've had family out this way or they've been out here on vacation at some point and it's kind of a
Well,
draw to them.
that's what I'm thinking, the same way with road and bridge,
Yeah.
Somebody's been
So we have that
there.
Indeed account, we can definitely, don't buy another one.
Is that a monthly?
We paid yearly for this one, we've
Okay.
done a yearly thing,
So, all right, guys.
and then we can
You
add
sold me. Fine.
Now, the joy is everybody sees the postcards of Wyoming, they see Yellowstone and the Tetons, and then they get over here and, where are the big mountains, where's everything
Can't
at?
see them from
I
here.
think all of our control clerks have come off of Indeed.
Yeah, actually, all of our control clerks have them up.
That's where all of our applications are getting started at right
And
now.
so what is this costing you guys, advertising?
Melvin, do you remember what we paid for that?
$40 a month,
No, I can't.
$500 a year, something like that.
It's, I think, a little more than that.
Yeah, I think it was like 2,500. But that was like for unlimited postings and.
Yeah, we got a lot
That
of
puts your
stuff for
cost
that.
per hire way up.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And granted, ours.
And we were struggling really bad at the time to get
Yeah.
anybody, and this is, as of right now, we have enough in psych evaluations and conditional offers out that will put us full minus the 2 frozen positions.
It's the most effective use of your guys' advertising, for sure.
You guys are paying for what time period? A year?
A year, yeah, we bought it for, it was cheaper to do a year than it
And
was
it's unlimited
by months, because we
postings.
didn't know how long it was gonna take us to get through it, so we looked at, we done a year's worth initially.
So you can, any job that comes up, you can post on there.
Yeah, like we could use that as a county-wide,
And that's what I'm wondering is, instead of just.
That's what I'm saying, don't buy another one.
Yeah, why
We
would you
can
buy
add-
another one?
so when we go in, I can set it up to where when you post a certain job, certain people get the
notifications.
notifications for it. So then you can filter that out to where we could put, say, you as the access to the road and bridge ones, and you guys would receive those. And you guys would get to look at those.
You'd be okay setting that up?
Yeah, I don't have a problem doing that at all. I mean, there's no reason to, if we already have one, it's
it's
just no reason to spend again.
So, basically, all you need is a job description.
Yeah, if you give me the information on it, and
Okay.
when you guys wanna come over and sit down, we can go walk through it together and put it on there, and you guys, that way you know what's actually going on there.
If we're already paying for unlimited.
Yeah, there's no reason that,
Why would we?
we have what we need on there, there's no reason we can't add another one to it.
It's
And
not
it's worked
limited
as
to
well as
like 3 ads or anything like that.
Yeah, good.
Saves everybody.
Let's try it out.
So do you want other newspapers then?
I say, let's try this to start with.
No, it's an offer.
Anything else on that, Malcolm?
Nope, that's all I needed to know. How you guys wanted to, because part of it is I think we owe the applicants an explanation. I mean, some of them applied almost 2 weeks ago and just explained to them where we're at in the process.
Yeah.
Okay, Tony, you have a couple agreements or proposals for us to look at.
Yeah, so earlier this year, Town of Guernsey approached us about is that where we're starting? Okay. An inmate housing agreement with them for their municipal warrants. You know, that they're obviously frustrated, they have a warrant out, but they can't do anything with it. So they approached us, asked us to set something up. This is kind of where we went with it. It's $120 a day for an inmate. They're in charge of all medical, all transports, all courts. We're essentially just housing them for that price.
This is the same thing we talked about a while back?
Yeah,
Okay.
So this one was taken from our current one with Cheyenne PD.
it's kind of
And
reworded.
just altered to fit
Mhm.
Guernsey, so they were, the same they would be the same contract as what we currently are in
Yeah.
with the Cheyenne Police Department as far as their whole thing here that we've been doing for several years.
Legals had a chance to take a look at it on our side. Town of Guernsey's had a chance to look at it on their side. They are happy with it, so. we
You
just
signed it yet?
What's
Have
that?
they signed it yet?
No, no signing until,
What are you guys gonna do?
I think the town of Guernsey has, yeah, the town of Guernsey.
oh, they did sign it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is,
Okay.
it's my fault and why it's taken so long to get here, because the town had approved it, sent it off, and honest to goodness, I just forgot about it until they reached out again and brought it back up. It got lost in the shuffle, so
So basically, they pay $120 a day and then they cover all inmate.
Yeah.
health
If anybody has to go to the hospital, they have so much time to get here to, well, obviously they have to take them initially, but they have so much time to get here and get them out there, you know, and sit on them.
I think if not, if for some reason they can't, I wanna say that there's something in there for reimbursement on mileage for us too.
Yeah, at their expense, back and forth.
Yep.
If they have
Okay, for
to
some reason
transport to court in Guernsey, they have to come get them, take them and bring them back to us. So none of that should be on us.
Ours is just a bed and a place to lay their head.
So this is pretty much the same thing that goes back to like May or June, if I remember right?
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing's changed?
No.
Other than it's been reviewed by legal?
Yep.
Okay. 'Cause it hadn't then?
It was set out the whole time, but it's one of those things also, it's been a busy year. I think everybody kind of just got to it at a later time than that, but yeah, and I apologize, yeah, I guess Mayor did sign it, but we're just kind of waiting on your guys' review before any of us sign it.
I think as long as you guys are satisfied with everything that's in there.
Like I said, it was taken right out of the current Cheyenne PD one, so.
And there's nothing in there you can't live with, right?
No, we've been doing Cheyenne PD hold since we started over here in 2007, that I know of, so. It's obviously worked for a significant period of time. I don't know why this wouldn't be any different.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, that one's, it's fairly simple on our ends and it kind of fills the needs of others, so.
You need a motion?
Yes.
I would move to approve the Guernsey inmate housing agreement.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the Guernsey inmate housing agreement. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So then you have your detention center medical proposal.
Yes. And, you know, big shout out to all the people who really helped us out through our, I'm gonna call it a crisis, but, you know, medical crisis we've had. And this was just a proposal that Dr. Peasley kind of picked up to be, reported to us with, just having the possibility of having, what's that called?
So he'd be a medical director.
Yeah,
over
medical
the-
director.
Over the nursing program or the medical program at the jail.
Yeah, it's early.
And so,
When we were looking at the contracting and things, that was one of the things that they talked about during it, was having a medical director and the protection it gives us as a whole. We were able to get an RN hired, on a temporary full-time basis until we can get through what, happens with our other nurse. That's working out really well from what I've seen so far. She's doing a good job for us. So we're maintaining now, and this is kind of looking forward into the next step of what it looks like for getting the appropriate things put in place for a proper medical program at the jail.
Just another level of responsibility, it's another level of accountability.
So
Instead of just having that one person, which we realized for years, they've just operated underneath that medical umbrella. And, thankfully getting to where we're at and realizing that we kind of were able to get that far without a hitch.
Yeah.
But still understanding that we needed to now navigate a different direction and bring the appropriate people on to help assist in this, because again,
Cody's had other one on for a long time.
so again, just being able to entice and have these conversations, being able to have these people come in and provide their expertise and then provide some navigation really kind of helped bring this together to know where we need to get to now. And this is one of the big things of where we need to get to, is having that, just that another set of eyes to kind of oversee everything, to also conduct just some clinic sessions. It sounds like it would primarily probably be more like a telehealth type thing that he would conduct. But then again, he can,
that would keep us
Cross the
from
T's,
having to
dot the
take them
I's.
to the clinic.
right? Which he was very, very on board with, understanding his role, but understanding the financial side. And right away, that was one thing that he was able to pull apart, is how we could cut costs on the ER visits by having that RN, having that further experience, that can utilize that skill set in the detention facility, but then having him even help conduct those telehealth visits.
How
and
much
those
does this
follow-ups.
affect that risk factor? What I would call a risk factor.
And realistically, it's because our RN a little bit more teeth to work under too. Like she can see a lot of these patients now. She can report to him and get more medical care done than what she could do on her own.
Okay.
So I mean, that gives her the ability to push some of the things up, or he can give direction to her to do certain things that doesn't
Oh,
require
sure,
us
yeah.
2 deputies and the time and calling people in to get them to a clinic, to arrange transports, to get them out of the facility and back. So it'll help keep people inside. Realistically, you're gonna cut costs in several areas with that, because he will come in-house to do these things where we're not going out of the building. So instead of having to have multiple people extra each day, because we still gotta staff the facility, plus a transport team, plus the transport team that's running Marshall, so we keep adding people to the list. Now we should be able to just maintain it with what we have in the facility if they're doing it inside. You can have them walking down the hallway to visit him instead of going across town with 2 guys.
and you talk about risk and minimum, it makes it minimal, with this, being under the watchful eye of a medical director essentially takes our part in the medical side and just wipes the people who don't know anything about it.
Because that was really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, to go from kind of the old standard of what we had and to operate underneath that for so long. And now to get to a part to where we have, a full-fledged RN, that can oversee it, along with this proposal of an MD to oversee that, and then also have kind of his hands in it as well. And then to still have the nurse practitioner that still sees the marshals. I mean, to go from that one person to an RN, an NP, and an MD, that all kind of share the roles and everything, I think
And
really helps
responsibilities.
lower the risk a lot.
Because a month and a half ago, this didn't look anything like this.
no,
I mean, it was just, whoa.
Something else that I really like about this proposal that is going in there is part of it is a medical records keeping portion that he would oversee, keeping all the charting, all the medical records, all of the things, so we would have good quality records to use in case there was ever an issue.
Right.
You know, we know that it's getting documented right, we know everything that coming in the facility that's been done is getting put on paper, that way when it gets questioned, we have it.
Yeah.
So that's just one more place that I think I don't say that we failed at per se, but maybe we're lacking at a level in that documentation area. So with that and these new controllers and them logging everything, I think it really gives us a good,
Putting
place
us
to
in
look
a
at.
good place for the
We're
future.
protecting ourselves a lot
Yeah.
more in these medical incidences, that when something does happen, we can go back and we have the documents, we have the stuff, we can show why, what, how all of this occurred and give us ourselves the best defense in the process of it.
You know, it's like we talked, statistically, medical is gonna be the first thing in a lawsuit for detention. So we're kind of just taking the progressive side of it and trying to get in front of it. The other side of it is we did have a meeting with the director of, trying to think of his name, actual title, but the marshals down in Cheyenne 2 weeks ago.
Chief deputy.
Chief deputy, yeah. And they were very, I guess, excited about the process of us, A, hiring an RN, and B, having this as a possibility. I mean, that's just, once again, still a big push to kind of steal the inmates away from others to get them back
And
over.
that was one thing when we enticed that conversation with him to talk about, future of what it looks like to house everyone in the state, and what they need from us. His very first question was, what does your medical look like?
Right.
So being able to even share, here's where we're at, here's what we're planning on getting to I think it was enticing, for sure.
So how does this fit into what we currently have budgeted for this coming year?
We were just having that conversation about how we needed to do what we need to do. With the hopes of decreasing medical visits, overtime for the deputies and everything else. That's minimal part to what the request is, but we're still gonna have to try to figure out how to.
Currently, we're not budgeted for this, obviously.
Yeah.
We have that medical line item that is for this at a level, just not within our facility, it's doing it outside of the facility. The clinic visits, the different things.
So
So
what's that, Malcolm, can you bring that?
You're talking detention center medical?
Yeah.
It was 70,000.
so I know we have that there, and that's to cover any like ER visits and the different things, so we can't obviously just dump that here, because no matter how we handle this, there's still going to be ER visits at times, because there's going to be emergency situations that we can't handle within the facility. This is going to help us keep a lot more in the facility, but we're never going to be able to mitigate completely the emergency visits, right? So we gotta have something there to plan ahead for, or to be cautious with, or to look for. But I know that our cost in the outside realm is going to go down at a level, because we're not going to the clinic. We're not paying for the clinic visits, we're not paying for the deputies, and we're not doing that. So there's going to be some savings, I just don't know what that really looks like.
Right.
Until you figure that all out, what are we looking at how much are we gonna need to come up with to?
There was a cost at the bottom of that proposal, a proposed cost, and I don't wanna.
3,600 a month.
About, yeah. So this is kind of a breakdown of what it looked like, the 12 hours a month, billed 300 an hour, at a minimum of 3,600, he put it at 3,600 to 5,000 a month, depending on what that month looks like. If we have a high volume month and we need more, obviously cost is going to be more. But that would get all our clinic visits and things mitigated out. There was a yearly one on there too, Malcolm, right there.
Yeah.
So we're looking at $43,000 to $60,000 and just keeping to put this medical director in place.
By adopting this, does that get you more marshal holes if they're out there?
It gives us a better shot at it.
I
Gives
mean, for
us
sure,
opportunity.
I think for sure it gives opportunity. I mean, if it's
Okay.
able to show
It
that.
helps with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Absolutely.
mean,
I don't know that I
again, with
wanna-
that being their first question out of their mouth, and we, had asked about what can we do, how can we, what's the sales pitch that we need to follow through with to
And
keep,
by addressing that, that's helpful.
right.
Yeah.
I think the more we can offer these outside agencies to hold, the better we look, the more enticing we are. Our location's already one of them. I mean, we're set right between both court districts, which is super convenient for them. We, and we start adding more and more items that we can help them with or take off their plate, then they're gonna wanna come to us. There's also a lot of things that go into that pile of what that looks like too, right?
No, we knew it wasn't gonna be pretty.
So I don't know what, I guess where we're at or what it looks like as far as cost side of it. I know that's a huge issue currently and this year and those things, right? And we've already made special arrangements to get through the interim with that, and I think this is definitely a conversation needs to, I guess, continue and look forward to on how we make it work, not necessarily if it's just what we gotta do to get there. I don't know what that looks like as far as the rest of our budget goes and where we can give or where we can't to make it work, I guess.
Well, I can definitely see in the long run, it's gonna save money because,
Yes.
I mean, it's every time
Yes.
we have one of those inmate lawsuits over medical, that costs something to defend ourselves over.
Yeah, and it only takes one of those to really put hurt, right? I mean, but
I mean, really, we've been looking at, especially lately with our situation, before our end too, is anytime there was even a minor problem where the person felt like they had to go to a hospital, we weren't trained to tell them, no, you're not going to the ER. This is something can be handled differently. And those bills add up quick, because once again, you don't want a lawsuit coming on by denying anybody medical.
It seems like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It seems like, I mean, a lot of the pluses and stuff like that, it takes you guys, removes that risk from you guys.
You know,
Seems
the
like
thing
right
with
thing to do.
decisions like this, you're always gonna have budgetary, thought processes going into it. But when you have budgetary constraints, because we don't have any money.
Yeah.
They weigh heavier than they would in just using them in your decision-making process.
I agree.
And that's the part that just drives me nuts, but what are we gonna do about it? Right now, we can't do anything about it.
No, and I think we're all pretty aware of what the money pot looks like, and where we can't just keep asking for things. We gotta give somewhere to get some of that. And we've looked at trying on how to, mitigate some costs on other things, trying to get tires on contract, trying to get, oil changes on contracts and things to where we're paying, 60% of the full price that we were before. So trying to add up in all the areas, kind of scrape some things back, but again, it takes so much to operate at a level 2, and then you can only dwindle it so far before it starts reducing service, I
It's
guess.
like cutting coupons,
Yeah,
you
if we got coupons, we'll use those too,
Yeah.
but
So we can find a way.
What's the next step in this process?
we just gotta decide if this is something we want to move forward with, which in, I think our opinion, it's been that we do. I mean, obviously, this is where we ultimately wanna get, and now we need to have that discussion on how we get there, what that looks like on the money side of it, right?
People are already in place, so.
Like, I don't know that there's any answers on our side of what the money looks like or where, or how that just magically appears, right? So we're open to some ideas on what that looks like. We've made efforts on our side, I think, over the last 6 months to try to really reduce that frivolous spending or extras and things,
And really hiring that RN without having to contract out, is a huge saving too. I mean, we're a lot further ahead than where I was thinking we were gonna be.
Well, this looks way different than what we were talking about 2 months ago.
Exactly.
right, and
And I'm still,
in shock and awe of the whole situation, me saying that, you know, a $53,000 a year contract is, let's face it, cheap for a medical doctor.
It is.
But it's still weird to me to say 53,000 is cheap, but yeah.
And when we were looking at 20,000 a month, or 12-week period, 25,000 in a 12-week period for a contracted program, I mean, it doesn't take long to.
Well, they were throwing around numbers of 900,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know, they were talking like that. Where in the world's that gonna
definitely
come from?
Like that's where that large vendor contract one is on that list there, that $240,000 a year costs. I mean, we can definitely spend a lot more money at it. I don't know. And I think the more you spend, at a level, the more you get too, right? Like you get more coverage,
Yeah.
you get more people, you get more things, but I
You know,
don't
it's
know
actually
that
For our
it's
facility.
changing the overall product at the end of the day.
It's a better deal than our healthcare we provide employees.
Yeah.
For the same cost per month, we're providing health or some sort of medical coverage for
Yeah.
how many inmates? 60 to 90?
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
this is where we, I think, definitely need to be at the end of it. I mean,
That seems like a pretty
we gotta
good deal.
figure out how to get there, and I just don't know. We froze up 2 positions, we left them open, like I said, I think we're going to be operating on a full staff here, based on what we have in interview processes and things. If everything works out, we'll be full staff minus those 2 positions. So we're kinda stuck there, like, and I don't know how many more we can give up and still maintain, right?
That's the part that bothers me the most, is the sacrifices that have to be made for this.
Right, so
You know,
I,
in your staffing for your road positions and your jail, I mean, that bothers me.
But we understand too, like that, in this scenario and situation, those are worthy sacrifices. Because again, we need to be here, and if we wanna continue to maintain those contracts, they want us here.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I do think that we've had conversations a lot of, I believe that those are worthy sacrifices to get us here. And then, once we get here, maintain, again, I think it's just a better, it's better coverage, it's safety, it's that bigger umbrella, and then it's a better selling point moving forward of already having it established, right? It's so much more appealing to have those future conversations with chief deputies and stuff, and telling him what we already have, and telling him what we're hoping to get, so.
And I know you guys have looked at this 9 ways, sideways, twice in order to facilitate this, and there's only so much you can do.
Well, that's why we appreciate the outsiders that we brought in, the professionals that we brought in, that have come in and talked to you guys, have sat down and had the meetings with us to hopefully give us the best and clearest navigation to get to this point. Because, yeah, I mean, we chose to be cops, not be in the medical field, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Blaming guidance counselor, but yeah.
Happy to give CPR, but
Yeah.
after that,
Yeah, I mean, we're on the right track, and
Yeah.
so I think we just need to keep moving forward with that.
I know you don't want to pull it out of the jail, but I mean, with that line of thinking, it does kind of look like medical insurance administration, but is that something that is, like I said, you don't want to take it out of the jail, but, or, remove that line item from the jail because it's tied pretty desperately to it, but if you do get into a pickle, is that someplace where we have some cash to supplement that?
From the health insurance
Or
line?
something like that, or insurance or medical insurance or something like that.
What I would advocate is that it should be paid out of the detention center
Mhm.
budget because it's a detention center related expense. If it were to go over, then
So,
we look towards the end of the year if we have additional revenue.
Okay.
I do not believe that will be the case this year. Probably our federal hold number is gonna be lower. So it'll have to be a general fund transfer from one department to another,
but currently, we take it out of detention center medical care.
and then in the 28 budget, work to, if that number is short, work to
Adjust it.
increase it.
Okay.
So I think probably what the next step would be, getting an agreement with everybody involved, and then getting that to Doug, reviewing it, and bring it to us.
Go for it. Yeah.
Good.
Looks good. Thank you, guys.
There you go.
being the cops, being medical.
Is anything else over there going on?
No leaks. Don't know.
There's nothing here that I can, I don't know, but, no, and speaking of just absolutely roller coaster ride of emotions, Jim and the boys did an amazing job over there. Cause we were struggling to find out where we were gonna have to contract out to have a kitchen. 'Cause we thought we were gonna be out 3 weeks to a month. And they got that, I tell you what, that actually grew some hair back on my head. Back, so. They did
See
a
what
good
you can
job.
do for Jim now.
We'll just have to glue some on him. And kind of in the works is we're talking with DOC to get their inmates going again, but we gotta get the money where we want it, so we're getting some points across to financially where they can pay us and what we'll do to accept. So that'll be kind
Current
of a
contracts are how long, Tony?
2 years, 2 or 3 years.
From,
I think we've got a year and a half left on the
Okay.
commercial contract.
okay,
It's the initial DOC contract we have for probation and parole just renewed. And then this one will be a brand new contract.
so you're where you're at for a while on a couple. Great. And that's a process to change that because it takes months.
It takes a long time to get them changed if they're even willing to change in the middle of it.
Yeah.
This one, the nice part is we're kind of starting from scratch on their side. So, I mean, they try to push a little bit of, well, our previous contract was this, and you haven't paid attention to the world around you, everything has gone up, so
Inflation.
we're not gonna hold the inmates about making some money off of it. So that will hopefully assist in the federal side, with the state side helping out with some bills. Federal side, I don't remember how many inmates he said that they actually have, but the numbers are down.
Federal side, just Wyoming, they're mid-80s, statewide,
Percents, 80% or mid-80.
mid-80, the
Mid-80s.
entire state.
Inmates.
Yeah, mid-80
Wow.
individual
Yeah.
inmates.
Wow.
Nationwide, out of 700 facilities, they're down 15,000 nationwide. But just on our state, I mean, you know, talking with the chief deputy and he says, well, Wyoming's in the 80s. We're like, well, we'll take all 80, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like a great number for us.
Yeah.
Terrible problem to have, lack of criminals.
Right, yeah, it's something
And
everybody
with
said.
that is, he provided some transparency with that is, the federal focus right now is not, federal incarceration of basically criminals in violation of law in state, it's immigration. That's where the money's going, that's where all the focus is going, it ebbs and flows, we get that. So that's why we're seeing, that decrease in number, from even a year ago, they were in the mid 140s, 150s. Usually the numbers were about 180s to almost low 200s. So you have to be under that 100 category for the entire
Yeah.
state. Again, you know, we smiled when he told us that and we said, well, just get us all 80. And it sounds
And
great
make you
to us,
guys'
like,
life so easy.
yeah,
Yeah,
so.
Deal with one person.
I mean, it is,
Did he blink?
He understood where we were coming from,
Yeah.
yeah, he was definitely, we appreciate him, he was listening with his ears for sure.
and that was.
You know, that he heard that and he acknowledged, you know, that they do have a great working relationship with Scottsbluff. Scottsbluff does treat them well, but at the same time, he's open to navigating it because he's kind of in a, I think in a, kind of a divide because we're understanding that he's also getting to retire soon as well. So how much does he wanna move the needle and how much can he actually get it moved, right? Before he makes his exit as well. So more than anything, we wanted to meet him, we wanted to definitely put faces to names and tell him whether it's future conversations with him or whoever the next guy is. Even if it is 80, we'll take 80.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have a public hearing scheduled for planning and zoning. Laura, good morning.
Good morning. So, this is an application for Rocky Mountain Tower. And they request approval of a special use permit to construct, operate, and maintain a wireless communications facility. Telecommunications facility is to improve wireless communication coverage, capacity, reliability, and emergency communication capabilities within the Wheatland area and surrounding portions of Platte County. This facility is designed to accommodate multiple wireless carriers, thereby reducing the need for additional tower construction in the surrounding area. This facility would consist of one monopole telecommunications tower with a lightning rod for an overall height of 104 feet. It would include a fenced-in area of 60 by 60 equipment compound, ground-mounted equipment cabinets and electrical equipment, utility connections, related communication infrastructure is necessary to provide wireless communication, telecommunication services. There is a memo of lease recorded on the land, which is owned by the McGuires. Steve McGuire is here if you have any questions when I'm done. I also have Shelley. She is the owner of Rocky Mountain Tower, if you have any questions for her. Notifications were sent to adjacent property owners, and they were notified by certified mail, and a public notice went out in the record times as usual. Agency comments, emergency management, the emergency management coordinator with the offset with FAA approval, he had no worries about the new tower next to the airport. YDOT has no concerns or issues regarding this application. A verbal was received on July 28, 2026 from Adam Kennedy. Because of the location, one to the airport and to the town of Wheatland boundary line, the town of Wheatland did vote on this and they approved it at their August 10th, 2026 town council meeting. I do have Matt Carberry here. He can attest to that. We don't have the official minutes yet. So I do have him here if you have any questions for Matt regarding the town's response. The Planning and Zoning Commission last Tuesday did an approval with the following 8 conditions. 1, FAA determination of no hazard to air navigation letter with the correct height of the tower and approval. The original no hazard came in with 100 feet, but with the lightning rod on top, it had to be adjusted to 104. I did get confirmation on that. Number 2, prior to construction, the applicant permittee is to provide the planning office with a final survey and legal description prepared by a licensed Wyoming state surveyor for review and approval. Number 3, the tower location will be set back 110% of the full tower height from property lines. The facility as a whole will be set back 30 feet from the public right-of-way, roadway easement or right-of-way, and 10 feet from the adjacent property lines. Number 4 through 8 are standards. Number 4 is Platte County reserves the right to place emergency communications equipment on the tower or within the leased area of the tower site, contingent to a license agreement between the applicant permittee and Platte County, and that Platte County equipment may not interfere with existing equipment on the tower, and that Platte County equipment may not hinder the tower's structural integrity. Number 5, that this installation is in compliance with and has approval from all required federal and state agencies. Number 6, the applicant permittee must notify the planning department of any structural, locational, or operational changes to the installation. Number 7, this approval is for the facility outlined in the above referenced application. Any additional structures may require another application. And number 8, this request is to be reviewed on a complaint basis only. The applicant did agree to all 8 conditions. Do you have any questions for any of us present?
So everything's met at this point.
Pardon?
Everything's met.
Everything's met.
Everything's agreed upon, dialed in.
Yes. Yeah. They are working on, the FAA is a little behind, they're short-staffed, so that, getting that permit, as soon as that, I confirmed that it needed to be adjusted. They had to apply for it, I could not, obviously. So it's that we're expecting soon. The survey, pretty standard, once they get the approval, they'll drill in exactly where, and then we'll have that on site. Yeah, and they, no concerns with setbacks. Adding equipment, anything.
Thanks, Laura.
Yep.
Okay, at this time, I'll open it up to public comment. If you have public comment, Please be recognized by the chair and state your name before you make your public comment. Sir.
My name's Ed Meyer. I'm here with my wife, Mary Meyer. We're on the adjacent landowners. We did make a presentation at the Planning and Zoning Board. I have provided a written letter to you. I think it's on the screen in front of you. With your permission, I'd like to read the letter for those here who aren't aware of our position in opposition to the location of the tower, and maybe to those who are watching.
So how long is the letter, or how long is it gonna take?
It's about a page and a half.
That'd be fine. Go ahead and read it.
You. As the adjacent landowners immediately west of the proposed cell tower, and in response to the notice received at reference A sent out by the Planning and Zoning, we reiterate our objection to the tower's planned location as personally presented to the Planning and Zoning Board at 7 p.m. on August 11th. 3 compelling reasons necessitate our opposition. A, cell phone towers negatively impact human health. B, the current FCC, Federal Communications Commission setback or safety limits are insufficiently protective. And C, wireless and 5G electromagnetic field radiation harm livestock, pollinators, and agricultural ecosystems. Additional reasons also include cell towers use hazardous materials which pose a fire safety risk. Towers are assessed to have a high liability and high risk to the point of asbestos comparisons. Property values of nearby landowners are negatively affected. And G, Part G, cell towers reduce community character, viewshed, and visual appeal. Our residence is located approximately 1,100 feet from the tower's proposed location. The negative impact to human health, cell towers and their antennas emit omnidirectional EMF or radio frequency radiation. Humans who reside near cell towers receive full body exposure daily. Despite its non-ionizing nature, persistent long-term exposure can be harmful from the RF energy waves' ability to heat up body tissue, especially in children and the elderly. This impact on humans was not studied when the FCC enacted its 1996 regulations. Numerous independent, recent, and peer-reviewed research results advised keeping cell towers 1,500 feet or 500 meters approximately away from populated areas. In 2011, the World Health Organization and the International Agency for Research on Cancer declared RF radiation causes cancer. Further, from over 1,700 scientific studies conducted on non-ionizing EMF and RF radiation since 1990, 89% of the oxidative stress studies showed harm, 72% of the genetic studies found undesired effects, 78 of the neurological studies discovered harm, and 85% of the reproductive development studies exhibited harm. Regarding insufficient protective safety limits, the current FCC RF exposure limits, unchanged since 1996, are based solely on protecting against short-term overheating effects and were not designed to protect against the effects of long-term, low-level, full-body exposure. These current limits were created and adopted from research conducted in the 80s using first and second generation cell tower phone technology, not today's 5G and soon-to-be 6G equipment. Despite the overwhelming preponderance of post-1996 peer-reviewed research, more than 500 studies, which found harmful biologic or health effects from RF radiation exposure, the FCC has remained entrenched and wedded to its outdated setback requirements. It's proven and well documented that cell tower RF radiation levels increase year after year without oversight or approval as networks are upgraded and expanded. The U.S. Court of Appeals ruled in 2021 the FCC's refusal to update its 1996 safety limits was arbitrary and capricious, and cited the FCC's failure to address recorded negative evidence from long-term exposure. Also, Children's Health Defense filed a lawsuit against the FCC earlier this year in the spring, requiring them to uphold the previous court's decision and update their safety requirements. Finally, no federal agency is actively researching or testifying human health effects from long-term cell tower radiation. Harm to agriculture. Decades of recent research found that animals are negatively affected by low levels of wireless and EMF radiation. These impacts included reduced sperm health, abnormal pregnancy and miscarriage, low calving and undeveloped offspring, endocrine disruption, and increases in cancer risk and cellular metabolic genetic alterations. Other studies of EMF exposure on bees found increased mortality, impaired foraging, and diminished memory and reproduction due to their reliance on magnoreception navigation. Pollinators are also vulnerable to high G frequencies because studies found these insects, which are mostly pollinators, absorb substantially more radiation from higher frequencies than those used in older 2G and 3G networks. Additional adverse impacts. Towers can catch fire and create safety and health issues, especially during dry and drought conditions. Wireless and non-ionizing EMF radiation is considered a new form of environmental pollution and has been defined as a pollutant by wireless companies themselves, specifically Verizon. Insurance companies also classify RF radiation as high risk and a pollutant and will not insure U.S. mobile operating companies for health-related exposure damages. Finally, along with the obvious negative visual appeal and aesthetics of a tower to a neighborhood and community, published analysis and data from real estate and property professionals across the U.S. consistently report decreased property values up to 20% of homes located near cell towers. Approve with a relocation. Our objection is with the tower's location and not the tower itself. As stated above, cell tower EMF and RF radiation causes negative and harmful effects to humans who can receive long-term, nonstop full-body exposure daily who are not beyond the 1,500-foot advised safety distance. Other adjacent residents and the proposed site landowners do not mind with living within 1,500 feet of the cell tower, but we do. Ideal solutions are a more remote location or to erect a 1,500-foot tower and mount the antennas safely away from all residents and animals. Those are not economically practicable. What is practicable is to relocate the antenna about 390 feet further east on the same latitudinal parallel, thereby alleviating us and our animals from the dangers and harmful effects cited above. Disappointingly, this solution was not discussed or considered by us or the Planning and Zoning Board earlier this month. In conclusion, scientific, peer-reviewed, and published research from around the world over the past 30 years has clearly proven and reported the numerous negative effects on humans, animals, and the environment caused by cell towers. The FCC is acutely aware of this situation but refuses to update their rules for approving new cell tower siting requests despite a U.S. court ruling and the ongoing litigation. Relocating the tower's current planned location approximately 350 feet east will have only a nominal financial impact on Rocky Mountain Tower and should not reduce the landowner's forecasted revenue stream. However, a tower relocation will provide us and our livestock increased safety. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment?
So just on what he was saying about,
Please state your name.
sorry, my name is Chloe Butler. On what he was saying about reproductive harm and genetic changes, I know for a fact my husband was he was one of the higher ups in the Marine Corps over a radio and equipment maintenance battalion. And for the years that he was with the guys who worked with the RF and EMF equipment, his battalion either didn't, and they were young families, most of them, weren't able to conceive kids, or the few that were able to only had girls. And this was a large number of men and women in that group. So from firsthand experience, it's real. So, you know, I know the planning and zoning wanted to say, well, I've never experienced blah, 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 but it is real and it does happen. And I hope that you all will consider this small adjustment so that they feel that they are not affected in their livestock.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Yes.
Steve McGuire. I mean, everybody has wireless devices in their house. The thing stuck to their ear all day is going to give them this tower thing. I mean, I don't know. if you're not using a cell phone, everybody's using it. We need the towers, the infrastructure, it's next to the airport. And it's one tower, so I think it's a great idea rather than having, they're gonna need Union Wireless and Verizon, they all need their own tower, but if they could use this one, so, yeah. I think it's obviously I'm for it. So.
Thanks. Back there, Matt.
Yeah, I'll start out with a couple questions for you guys. Did you have a chance
You said
to-
your name.
Lucinda Houchins? Sorry, Lynn. I do forget. Did you guys have a chance to watch the planning and zoning hearing?
Yes.
Ian, have you seen
It's
it?
public comment. I'm waiting for your comment.
No, I just want to know how much I have to go over with you, so I'll give you a review then. Okay. I was astounded that so much peer review studies were handed to the planning and zoning commissioners. Have you seen that information? Has that been shared with you?
Yes.
Jeff? You have the stacks of peer reviewed studies? That'll be a yes, okay. Great. And it was asked during that meeting what research the Planning and Zoning Commission had done. And Marty said, I've done none. Bill said, I've done none. Bonnie said, I haven't done any. But Jay said, we have a microwave tower on our ranch, so we're around it all the time. I haven't noticed any health other than losing my hair. And then he talked with Burlington Northern, because they're the ones that have the cell towers. He says, I've asked questions of them, what's it going to do to our ranch or our livestock? And Marty went on, I live 1,500 feet, maybe 1,300 feet from one. I have cows and run 20 yards from them. I noticed nothing in the fertility. I noticed nothing in performance. I noticed nothing in health. I guess that's my research. Hasn't bothered me, hasn't bothered my livestock one bit, hasn't bothered my neighbors, and they're very close. Bill said, and I guess, we have cell towers on some land we have, and I haven't noticed anything different. That comment, he didn't tell us how close those towers were. We don't know if the towers are out in the middle of nowhere. The point here is the Myers are asking for a few hundred feet. They have peer-reviewed research about the health effects. Anecdotal evidence versus peer-reviewed research. I don't think Marty really did any research on his cattle. He doesn't have any peer-reviewed studies on his cattle. And Bill says, very close or far from human habitation, no facts to judge his assessment there. And all it was opinions. During the planning and zoning, it was opinions, not research. And they each said they would gladly take those cell phone towers to their property. They would like to have those cell phone towers on their property. So that would also be an alternative area to take it away from where it's proposed out to the commissioners' areas. And Bill went on to say that these cell phone towers meet our regulations. And that's what we're here for, is to make sure these things meet our regulations. We're not here to make the regulations have already been made. My question is, can the regulations be updated to include peer-reviewed research? Could the regulations stipulate that no cell phone tower should be placed closer than 1,500 feet? Could that be a possibility? Or are you just going to go with outdated regulations and ignore the facts of new technologies? Maybe no proof of the hazard. However, there is also no proof of safety. at this point. The process seems to be, don't listen to the research, don't read the research, just go on your gut feelings. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have public comment?
I am Shelley Neese, the CEO of Rocky Mountain Power. I wanted to wait until the public had spoken. In siting a telecommunications facility, and I've been doing this for 32 years. I worked for AT&T Wireless. I was the Western Regional Real Estate Manager. In addition, my husband sitting next to me was Verizon for over 30 years, and in the industry for 40 years. I've worked with thousands of landlords. I have done over 1,000 zoning hearings, public hearings, such as this. And two things always come up. One is, not in my backyard, put it somewhere else, please. We're okay with it as long as it's in our neighbor's backyard. To site a telecommunications facility is very difficult. It starts with the process of an engineer at Verizon looking at an area and saying, we need coverage in this area. That's not random. It's $1 million by the time you're done building a telecommunications facility. $500,000 for the structure itself, and about another $500,000 to put the radio equipment on the tower. We don't build these where we don't need them. The carriers today are very stringent with their budgets, and the engineer that designs this is under tremendous scrutiny all the way up to the top of the food chain to justify the need for the cell tower. So we didn't randomly just decide to put this here. Then when looking, we are given a small search area where we need to cover, and that's the data that I presented later to Laura and we sent to you from our engineering expert, who's been doing this for 40 years. And in so doing, we then look at your code. And in looking at that code, we want to comply with that code. We have to comply with local law, federal law, local law. Okay. In so doing, we then canvass the area and look at only the properties that would meet your zoning requirements, and we send out letters to only those people. And we ask them if they might have an interest. So that's how we got the letters. From there, we look at who might be interested in having the telecommunications site on their property in concurrence with their legal property rights. And that was Steve. In so doing, we met your code. In addition, we found a willing landowner. We complied with Verizon's rules and regulations, and I will state that we are so heavily regulated by the federal government that the conjecture here is misleading. To be able to go onto Google today and pull up data and information and throw it around is quite simple. But to do what I do is not simple. If Verizon is not in full compliance with the law, and I mean the NEPA-SHPA standards, the SEC standards, the FAA standards, we go from there. And the 1996 Telecommunications Act, which I'm sure you're aware prohibits taking health into consideration because, and here's why. If today we had not done so many studies on this, which are current, the original studies were done back then, but they are revisited and looked at and confirmed to be accurate with new technology and new data as new frequencies are released. Okay. With all of that compliance, it takes us about 18 months to build a cell site. If we're not in compliance with one thing, we get sued. In fact, there were some NEPA-SHPA issues. Verizon was sued for billions of dollars. They will not go on a tower that does not comply 1,000%. We are operating 10,000% below the maximum allowable electromagnetic frequency. It is non-ionizing radiation, as they discussed, ionizing being that when you go in for an X-ray and you have a cover on you. Non-ionizing being that with your baby monitor, your TV remote control, you're exposed to it all day long. You're exposed to frequency in the air all day long. We have not seen cancer clusters. We have not had issues with speculation that people can't get pregnant or they're only gonna have girls. That's a little out there. And I do respect the fear. Fear is a thing that is very difficult to overcome. When something is fear-based and the public is afraid, as we saw in COVID, there are many things that they will do to react to that, and I respect that. It's a very powerful tool. However, logic-based facts and regulations that we have to comply with And I did also give Laura a pamphlet to give you on, from our RF engineer, who could not be here today, on health and how we are regulated and those are facts that we are bound to. This is not a non-health threatening issue. I respect the people here that are fearful, and I do understand that. But with all of that being said, I'm asking you to approve this because we meet your code, we comply with the law, we comply with the stringent standards of the federal government, the FCC, NEPA SHPA requirements. As far as the FAA, we did file at 100 feet because of the airport. We wanted to make sure that this was going to be allowable. We will have to file at 104 for the lightning rod. If that comes back denied and we can only have 100 feet, we will drop the height of the tower to 96 feet with a 4-foot lightning rod. So we have to be in compliance. Verizon will not locate on the tower unless we are. That's simply the fact. Okay. They've been looking for a site here for some time. It is a capacity and coverage site to increase the coverage to the east and west of the location, and we've shown that in the last documents that we gave you. In addition, capacity for the fairgrounds. In fact, the name of the site is called Platte Fairgrounds for Verizon. And so enhanced safety from a 911 standpoint, and then increased capacity and coverage, as Laura very correctly stated. And I'll leave it at that, and I stand for questions if you have any.
Thank you. Do we have any more public comment?
Sir Ed Meyer again. I was just gonna say the comments at the Planning and Zoning Board about microwave towers on one of the commissioner's land really aren't applicable in this situation. Microwaves are highly directional. The antennas that they use, they project a directional signal and not the omnidirectional situation we find with cell towers.
Any other public comment? Ma'am?
Yes, my name is Mary Meyer. I'm one of the adjacent landowners. I would first like to address a comment made by landowner Steve McGuire where he said, everyone has a cell phone. To make that statement, it is an absolute. To say that everyone has a cell phone is not accurate. There are people, most of the world probably has a cell phone, but I've only had a cell phone for 2 years. I'm still paying on my first cell phone. I don't use it. I don't even have a voicemail set up. I rarely carry it on me. It's in my purse. It's somewhere in the house. We still have a landline. If somebody wants to, sorry Malcolm for the static we got the other day. That's because we have a landline. So to say that yes, we're exposed to it, absolutely, all the time. But that's what I can control. I can control how much exposure I want by what I allow in our house. I walk outside, I can't. I'm immediately, if I open a window, if I walk to the garbage, if I check the mail, if I go to the barn, if I'm pulling weeds, I'm gonna be exposed by something, the cell tower. To the best of our knowledge, that was not what I had written, but I heard Steve say that, and I think it's grossly inaccurate and assumptional. To the best of our knowledge, there is no public data from the county or the town of Wheatland indicating a shortfall or gap in communication coverages for emergency services. If a gap does exist, then an additional tower may be needed. However, lacking evidence to the contrary, the cell tower and its proposed location is seemingly unnecessary aside from the obvious financial proposition. I don't believe it is much about fear as it is about money. That's my opinion, not based on fact. We have provided in the USB drive reliable, recent, peer-reviewed, and documented scientific studies from credible research professionals around the world which show negative and costly impacts a cell tower has on human health, livestock, and pollinators when within 1,500 feet of cell towers due to daily long-term exposure from non-ionizing RF radiation. The studies are there. We have also provided irrefutable and court-published evidence that the FCC's safety requirements are not only grossly inadequate to the point of negligence regarding cell tower safety limits, but that the FCC is under court order to update these safety requirements and is currently involved in a lawsuit from the Children's Health Defense because they have not done so. The supporting documentation attached to the letter includes recent peer-reviewed independent studies which concluded that cell towers have a high liability and risk to the point of operators such as Verizon and others being uninsurable. They are a fire safety risk. They negatively impact property values by as much as 20% and have an undesirable impact on community character and viewshed. We should not blindly follow and trust government, nor should anyone else. Government is run by man. It is fallible and has a possibility of falling into the cesspool of corruption. The recent revelations about Dr. Fauci and his insatiable desire for power and financial gain during the COVID outbreak has confirmed this in spades. Further, it's worth noting that it was a numerous independent, peer-reviewed researchers who were correct about COVID and the vaccines, specifically those who signed the Great Barrington Declaration. We should, however, trust but verify what the government does, and as adjacent landowners, this is what we've done. Regarding the FCC cell towers safety regulations, we found that the government's requirements to be not only sadly lacking, but untrustworthy. We are asking that you stand in the gap and provide the reasonable protection we seek by moving the proposed cell tower location. In closing, we respectfully ask for a delay so you have time to review the materials which have been provided to you before deciding on the special use permit. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Barb Flicker. I'm old enough to remember when they told us smoking was good for us.
Thank you. Lucinda.
Just Lucinda Houchins. I forgot my concluding remarks were similar to what Mary said. Is there a problem with delaying your decision until you actually have had time to look at what the people have given you? They've done hours and hours, weeks and weeks of research. And for sure, the planning and zoning, when they made their decision, didn't even look at it. And that is sad. I would ask that you at least postpone your decision until you have had a chance to hear and look at their side of the story. Thank you.
Any more public comment? Okay, I'll close it to public comment and bring it before the board.
I don't think that in the response to emergency services, I don't think that a lot of people go out into the county because there are so many places where I go, guys, if you get hurt out here, it's a walk to the top of the hill and call a helicopter. And that's because we don't have cell service. And it's been getting a lot better. But to be honest with you, one more place, if you can make a 911 call, that is a good thing. That is a very good thing. And I don't think most people appreciate it because they don't bother their butts to go out to where any place that doesn't have street signs. The other thing I'll say is that in reference to the peer review studies and the FCC and stuff like that, let's let the court handle that, and Verizon and everybody else has to abide by those rulings after the fact. It's not like they'll be grandfathered in as a safety risk. We're woefully inadequate about determining whether or not an RF risk is a public endemic risk. And I think that you have to have a memory of a goldfish to not remember what happened in COVID. If we take peer-reviewed studies as guides for everything we do in the county, every one of you guys would have got a COVID shot, and I know that several in here would not have appreciated that. So I'm gonna base my decision based on what is good and what I think is right, and the preponderance of evidence says that we've been around this for quite some time and they're still figuring it out, but they're improving the safety and improving the safety all the time. And so this is something that is good for Platte County. And I don't think there's any reason, if they meet, and to be honest with you, if they got it through the town of Wheatland, my God, good job. But I don't see any reason why this thing can't go through. It does sound like 350 feet closer to somebody else is put it away from me at the expense of others. That's what it sounds like.
It kind of resembles some of those comments, but, one of the things that I go back to paragraph 1, and there's a reference in there to asbestos, but that's been outlawed for use, in this country for well over 20 plus years. You can't find it. I mean, it's just not there. Out of the farm, we've got both kind of towers on the farm. Within a quarter mile of here, within so many feet of there. One of them is a cell tower, and the other one's like internet only. That cell tower's been there a long time. Cattle don't care. We've got no fertility issues. We got nothing. I mean, the hair's not falling off, whatever. So, you can go down 10 million rabbit holes on the tube and find out anything you want to find out in these studies. I guarantee you can. And you can go down that same tube and different rabbit holes and find out different stuff. I agree with Ian. We're not experts on that. It's both sides are out there, and that's kind of about all I got to say about it.
So in regard to the discussion about whether we need cell towers, I think somebody brought up there's been no proof, no documentation that we need cell towers, extra cell towers in Platte County. I actually went to a presentation just last week that was done by, it's actually done for the town of Hartville, a wildfire mitigation plan. The number one thing they said is we need more cell towers. When we have emergencies, the cell towers that we have get jammed, loaded. You can't call and find out where anybody is. But that was one of their, among other recommendations. So there are studies and recommendations that, yeah, we do need more cell towers. I roam in areas where we don't have service hardly at all. It's hard to get a hold of me if I'm not at home, and sometimes it's hard to get a hold of me there, but I would appreciate more cell towers throughout the country. I do have a question for Laura. Do you know how many cell towers we've permitted in Platte County?
No.
I know I've been here 16 years and we've permitted quite a few of them over the years.
I have had over 10 requests and verifications from existing cell tower special use permit holders to put new equipment on without increasing updated equipment on, without raising the height of the tower. And I started October 21st of 2025, and I'm telling you, over 10.
And so we know there's a number of cell towers in Platte County.
Yes.
Have you ever had any complaints about cell towers in Platte County?
None.
My other question is, if this project is over $1 million, is that a building certificate?
The cost of construction, as I say, from the first shovel of dirt to last screw or nail is $1 million or more, yes. It does require a construction certificate.
We would expect that.
Okay.
And we're generally regulated by a building department.
Okay.
If you do not have one, then we self-regulate and bring in an outside party to ensure that this structure is built safely.
Malcolm, did you put the conditions back up on the screen?
I would assume you guys do also, yes.
So I guess, Laura, my question is on condition 3.
Mhm.
So is the facility and the tower not located in the same spot?
The facility and tower, they're within the same area.
So, so there's not gonna be anything within 30 feet of the public right of way?
No, there's not. And actually, that portion of the state highway is actually an easement. So I provided the applicant with the actual exact legal description of the easement, so they will be well in
So that
compliance.
30-foot setback is actually irrelevant?
It's,
if the
it's a reiteration of our rules and regulations. That's it.
Because basically it must be 110 feet away from
Number 3 is a reiteration.
4-foot tolerance.
Yeah.
So
I would, I think that I'd like to add another condition and revise one condition. One of the conditions would be to work with planning and zoning on a building certificate, or what do we call those now?
Construction certificate.
Certificate. And also on condition 8, to remove the word only.
Which one?
Condition 8.
Supposed to be reviewed on a complaint basis. Okay.
And in regard to the construction certificate, if it is over $1 million, the first $1 million is exempt.
Correct. The minimum, it's $1 million, like $1 cent over, it's $250.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any further discussion?
Okay, so I would move to approve a special use permit for Rocky Mountain Tower with the 9 conditions as recommended by the planning and zoning and amended by the Platte County Commissioners.
Second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the special use permit for Rocky Mountain Tower with the 9 conditions as recommended by planning and zoning and amended by the Platte County Commissioners. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we will move on to our public hearing update.
Okay, so after your last meeting, the commissioners approached me and for our bylaws at the next available meeting, I approached the board at the planning and zoning board regarding adding data centers into our current rules and regulations. The Board of County Commissioners, I had come up with a very quick example of where to put those, which I would like some input if you have some. In our rules and regulations, just for a quick summary, under meaning of terms, obviously adding the term data center, and then under chapter 6, 7, and 8, adding a section for data centers. And
Okay, what page you on now? We started on 2.
So she's in a different. she's not-
oh, this is,
Oh, okay.
so I can do this to you guys.
That's fine.
So basically, the table of contents would be
This is the
edited.
one you sent to us last night.
Yeah, you guys have it, but this is if you wanna look at it.
Oh, that's, okay.
Yeah, this is for the rules and regulations.
Is this what you're on, Laura?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this,
It's actually pretty good. So edits obviously to the table of contents to include those few areas where there's being adjustments. The definition, the only one I put in the example to provide to the P and Zs was the definition of a data center. I know that's there are many slight versions of this, and this will go before, with approval from the planning and zoning, they did vote and approve that this change should be included and added. And that public hearing is September 16th at 1 o'clock at the Agriplex. So
your input if I'm missing some areas or thoughts, if I didn't fully understand your thoughts of what you wanted to include in the rules and regulations is what I'm kind of looking for now. So I only had data centers as a simple definition. You can go into much more depth as to the type of data centers, but those names and those types of data centers are changing rapidly. But the blanket definition of a data center is what I put there. The other chapter, so to close the gap and the potential, the loophole, would be to put it in commercial, industrial, and RAM as a subtitle further down on page 29. So including data centers, I made a minor adjustment to the top to be more in cohesive language with industrial, but put data centers in as a requirement. And at the very back of that, say all data centers are required to go through the special use permitting process. And then see chapter 3, which is our special use permitting. And I didn't know, I made a comment, maybe add something regarding industrial parks, exclude waive, etc. Again, this is just an example, I'm looking for input, thoughts, and to see if I'm on the right track. Chapter 7, I added addresses to be cohesive with the commercial side and data centers. We had a note in section 705030 for industrial that I removed, obviously. I had to do this quick, only an example, this is not what's being proposed. So I will go through and do what we've done with wind and solar and cross things out and red and so everybody can see what was there and propose changes. Let's see. I did, in the industrial, to go along with this, we had, I believe, a 1/4 mile radius on page 34. I moved that to a 1 mile radius, just to be more cohesive again with other types of zoning and other permitting. Again, the same language at the back for the data centers in industrial, as well as in the RAM area. Any thoughts, or am I on track on what you were looking for? Or did you want me to incorporate more than these chapters? Were you looking at an entire chapter? My understanding was incorporating into our existing,
Yeah,
not creating a new one like the energy storage system. Okay.
We don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Build it into what's there.
We have one of the most powerful tools in our county, which is a conditional special use permit. And there are a lot of counties in this state that do not have that luxury. And that gives us a lot of control to impose conditions into our special use permits. So I think less is more in this case. That's my research has shown that. So, and talking with other planners.
and that's why I recommended,
Okay.
a change of conditional use permit for data centers. It gives us the ability to put any kind of condition on it that we want. And we're not bound by what just a specific set of rules.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, in talks with other people in other areas, this conditional use permit is the absolute best way to regulate anything that you're gonna regulate, that you want to have the power to regulate.
This gives us the authority to put the very guardrails on it that people are gonna ask for,
Yes.
and that's where this comes from.
But it also gives us the flexibility that if a certain data center in a certain location doesn't need something, we don't have to require that, but maybe one over here we would require it.
Yeah.
Where rules would basically require every one of them to be the same.
Right.
And they'd be in different locations under different, and a blanket rule just doesn't fit all.
I totally agree, and we have a lot of variables, irrigation district, non-irrigation district. We have the co-location centers, we have hyper centers, we have smaller data centers. Encompassing all of them would even include the special use permit that is through the office for a, oh my goodness, even a smaller data center, basically. A data center can be as small as the size of your desk there.
You're thinking of the telecommunications center at Slater.
Yeah, the one that's later, yeah.
Where
That's
they're
technically a data gathering for the,
something the size of this room.
yeah.
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 So which would be the expectation and be incorporating the all data centers for a special use permit. That will give us the opportunity and flexibility. So, anything else you want me to pursue in the regulations to incorporate it?
I think you've pretty well gotten everything that I,
Yeah.
run that.
Ian, any
I'd like
thoughts?
to see.
No, this is puts a lot more tools in our hands. I appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, because the weaving of a blanket and throwing it all over, all of them, doesn't make any sense.
No.
It makes zero sense.
Especially when we're not getting any help from state or federal agencies.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the tech is changing so fast, it would be almost impossible.
Well, and it speaks to local control as opposed to
That's
state or
right.
federal.
Correct, yes,
That's right.
yes. Yeah. And we have worked out in our current fees that if something comes in, we can get outside professional help. So we can order like a consulting firm, engineering firm, additional attorney.
What do we have to ask for to facilitate doing the job right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I think we could get people specific to a specific program,
Yeah.
to specific, if it's a huge project. We can get that special help. So, and I appreciate that ability. Any more questions for me on this, or if I'm on track, then I will
I think you're on track.
go to the, cross it out, Word document dream, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can start that red, blue fund.
Yeah.
Other than the red line, how it's presented, so
Uh-huh.
what's added, what's taken out, what's new, what's not.
Yeah.
So,
It will be in red, blue fun.
Yeah.
Now, and then the final thing I had was, this is the Platte County Planning and Zoning Commission bylaws. These are bylaws internal, that's what, with this nice little old fashioned logo on it. Again, I just highlighted some potential areas for editing, change, update. I did talk with the county attorney. Because this is an internal document, and the Planning and Zoning Commission is a branch, it's an arm of you guys. Anyway, it's an internal document, this does not have to go for public hearing, so the bylaws are something that the Planning and Zoning would review, vote on, and then what they vote on and approve, if there are changes that they approve or want, then that is what I would bring to you the following meeting, your next possible meeting for your approval. And the reason is because on the page, the front page, that's what's happened in the past. So, the big change is we can do any kind of agenda we want. We've kind of adopted over the years different agenda formats. We are not bound to have a set statutory agenda, but it is nice in our bylaws to have one set up that, like another planner, or if I was not available to create the agenda, somebody could have something to fall back on to fill my absence, temporary absence. I do have this going before the county attorney's office for their input also, before I take it to my next meeting, which will be September 8th. The big thing would be adding rules of hearing. I see it as a potential problem we keep having these rules of hearing, which have worked very well with the larger special meetings. And it's become apparent in the planning and zoning department that it would be good to have those rules just be consistent throughout. Then there's not something we have to vote on every time, that we have to edit. And every time I go to edit something, I'm only human, and I'm scared I'm gonna miss something, or one of my commissioners is gonna miss something, and we're gonna approve a document that's not really what we wanted. So if we just had a blanket rules of hearing that would apply to every planning and zoning meeting, that's kind of
makes sense.
where that went.
Value
And
of
since-
consistency.
Yes, consistency, absolutely. And it's already with the format of what our bylaws cover, which is, it's actually meetings and everything, it fits right in. So it's not like we're throwing some random item into our bylaws. If you have any input on that, I would be happy to take it, and work on these. Again, I will be presenting, after the county attorney has gone through this, the revisions and whatnot, present it to them and then get their sign off and then present it to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and I'm hoping to do that at the September 8th meeting for a vote.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track. The bylaws are their documents, so.
Input, Ian, you look like you're thinking.
No, I'm anticipating all the fun. I think that like standard set of rules is very important, very important.
Yeah. All right, and Jim, good? Any additional thoughts thrown in? Okay,
All right, now.
all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Oops.
Okay, Jim. How are you today?
Busy.
What do you have for us today?
I didn't get 3 copies made, but you guys can pass those around. That's the jail kitchen. We'll start with that major project.
Did you guys cut the concrete by saw?
Yeah.
You ran saw?
We're really
Well done.
Sledgehammer, shit.
Yeah.
That was very hard.
No inmate labor?
So, Jim, I'm still hard to believe that the age that this is, that's the condition that it is. So that was my question. What is in town's water that dissolves our sewer pipes?
Is that water pipe?
That's sewer.
Drain. Sewer drain.
Sewer drain, oh.
So
Because
this,
if you remember, when we remodeled the courthouse,
yeah,
our sewer under the courthouse was gone. It was just basically a dirt tunnel that the sewer was for.
That's what this was doing. The snake was in the dirt, making a little 1-inch hole to drain through.
So what is causing that?
I think it's the grease and acid, use of acid.
So is
And this is the new cast iron, the thin wall stuff. It's not the 1/2-inch thick dinosaur, but it still should last 60 years, 50, 60 years.
So what's the acid in the
We
clean?
use hydrochloric acid and we use a ton of it.
Do we also use it in the courthouse?
Pardon me?
Do we also use it in the courthouse?
No. We
Because
haven't
that,
put
I
any.
mean, that water or drain line was completely gone too. Of course, it was a different material, it was 100 years old.
Right, it was like ductile iron.
So is there
So
something we can switch to that'll do the same
yeah,
thing?
that's what I was getting at. We talked to Javier, who owns Dominguez Plumbing. Similar to your septic system, there's Riddex, there's a lot of products, right? Well, there's an enzyme product that we could do. It's 5 doses every day, a dose every day for 5 days of an enzyme. You pour it in every drain, you leave it overnight, you don't run any water. Then you go to once a month. And it doesn't eat pipes, it will eat acid. It puts good bacteria in there that'll keep them clean. Jim also just bought a jetter that we could run down, say, monthly. That will eliminate everything in there good, though, also. So then you'd have to start this 5 days to once a month. So maybe we don't need the enzyme, we just jet them.
I've talked to a lot of septic guys, and there are 20 products out there on the market that you can buy for your septic tank. 14 of them don't work, and 6 of them make it worse. And seriously, so septic problems, those bacteria problems, they become problems because of the environment they're in.
Right.
Very, very hard to change the environment they're in without changing what you pour down the sewer. That's a sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid issue, and so the only way to get rid of that is to put PVC in.
Yeah, we did put PVC in where we had several rotten P traps. We had like 25 feet of.
But the drainage system in that building is way different than the septic system.
It's still bacterial processes, and that's what I say, that's sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid.
And I've put in a lot of septic systems, where.
Was the pipe rotted at the top of the pipe or the bottom of the pipe?
Bottom of the pipe.
Bottom of the pipe. Okay.
Was there any evidence that there wasn't enough slope, you know, to
No,
have that
no.
completely drained?
We,
Or water would just sit there and
no,
not
it's
completely
a
drain?
quarter inch per foot.
Okay.
Um,
Quarter inch per foot?
They talk about.
Yep.
Additives into your septic system.
Yep, so it's perfect for plumbing, you can go to an eighth, you can even go flat for a little bit,
You can.
yeah, but it needs to like siphon out.
It does.
So it is plumbed properly,
Okay.
I bet you, just
Is
based
that one
on.
photo, Dan, makes it look like it had a residual amount of water in the bottom of the pumps, or pipe 724.
Yeah.
That's what the photo looks like.
Yeah, but see, those photos were taken right after we were jetting too, so it's not. When we would come back every day and do more, they were bone dry.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I was just looking at the pipe itself, you know,
Yeah.
what that looked like. Especially the one that was in the garbage can when you guys were doing that and I was over here doing something. I walked over there and I looked in there and said, oh boy.
Yeah, I saw the day you walked by at
Yeah.
the rail. Yeah, we were up to here in it then.
Yeah. I could see that.
But the good news is, everything that was left is good. Everything that was bad has been changed.
Awesome.
Does anybody else
Now
wanna
we
see
just
these
need to let
pictures?
it cure and
You wanna see these?
seal it. Do you wanna pass them around?
Kayla, see.
You know, where does the, if you guys are using hydrochloric acid, where does it drain to? Does it go right to the sewer outside or does it go to
Both
the
the
tank?
grease trap.
Yeah.
So there's two lines, two mains in there. One goes to a grease trap, one goes to city sewer. And it's the city sewer side that was destroyed.
Yes,
So,
I was wondering.
but it's funny, well, it's not funny, it's odd that there were white bowls, capsulated chunks of fat and grease that were rock hard. Like rock hard. So your snake would bounce off them and just create a 1 inch hole. That everything, and we were going there every other day for a month.
Jeez.
And then we were getting gravel back, there'd be fat stuck to the snake. And that would bring back rock and gravel.
And then
We
you're going,
actually
that's a
thought
problem.
somebody was dumping gravel down.
Yeah, you would think that, but at that point you're going, now I've got a problem.
Now we have rotted out
Yeah.
P-traps, and they all were rotted out.
Because when you
Gone.
start pulling that kind of evidence back, it's like, this ain't good.
Yeah.
This is not good. We're digging is soon to be involved.
So when we had the snake stuck in there, that snake went in the wall, down a 90 at the bottom, came right over about 7 feet to a 90, went down the main, just a very short distance, turned around and went in a Y. Went back to the, and you know, if you can't get it to do that in a million years if you tried, right? So then it went down by the dishwasher, threw that P-trap into the dirt and circled 3 times, and that's where we found. So when we cut a hole, found a rotted pipe, we thought, there's no way in a million years we picked the only spot with the rotted
Yeah.
pipe in it, right? This 3 foot by 2 foot.
Mhm.
So we thought that would be a good place to dig because you could pull it by hand out those 390s. And then we'd fight this stuck problem, which we knew is stuck as stuck can get.
I'm still stuck on the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, having a 90, really?
Yeah.
You know,
So the plans, when they show a diagonal, that diagonal really represents a 90. So we put all Ys in. The only T we put in was to go from the clean out back over to the wall, because nothing's herringbone either, it's all 90s.
And were they short 90s or were they sweeping 90s?
They're a sweeping 90, but still in relationship to a 4-inch, like 2 and 3 inch lines going into a 4-inch, they're short, they're, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So today you use a Y and you use a 45 and you get a big old sweeping.
mhm.
You know, you can easily run a snake down and that kind of stuff, but.
How many feet did you replace?
23 feet of straight pipe.
Yeah, and then little pieces too that, so where we dug, we tunneled in like 4 spots. Like, under the dishwasher, there's crawl space we could have utilized for food storage. We went in a 16 by 16 hole and it went back further than I can reach with a bar in my hand to still dig with it. So it was 4 feet over. Back wall to the 3 sink compartment was all the way tunneled out. In the big trench, we tunneled. Everywhere a pipe came in, we cut it. Just the mechanical work of the saw on the pipe would break away a little more. We tunneled deeper. We cut every end 4 or 5 times. That's a good picture of the tunnel. That doesn't look like much, but that's under the dishwasher.
Platte County, Wyoming, where the maintenance department will tunnel out for you.
We were joking, you know, 3-4 more days, we'll be out of jail.
That's right.
We'll be tunneled out.
Yeah. So basically, we had a leach field under the detention center.
Yes.
Just like we had at the courthouse. when we
Yeah.
went to do it.
Yeah, when you would dig in the dirt and you find the black dirt, then you just knew that's the pipe, what's left of it, and it'll be gone underneath it.
You know, it takes a long time for it to turn black. You know, a couple of little spritzes, it won't do that, but if it's continually black and nasty.
So how come though, man, in 26 years, that pipe's gone? That pipe should be good another 26 years.
That's what
Like you
yeah,
said,
agree.
the water, the grease, the acid, Now, one time, we had a brand-new art center built, all copper, waste vet, drains, everything was copper. From the water line in it, like you'd go to this $400 a night concert and smell sewer, like this is freaking disgusting, you know? But all the copper pipe was riddled with holes everywhere above the water line, brand-new building. How's that happen? You know, they said it's your cleaning products. I'm saying, no, that's bad copper. I don't care what you say.
That ductile iron is very, very amenable to being corroded.
I'm not
I
sure.
mean, there's 60-year-old homes in town still have it.
Yeah, there are.
How?
I think that the load on that looks like sulfuric acid.
Yeah.
Looks like, and that's from bacterial growth and stuff like that, so but PVC is the only way to get rid of that. Maybe venting, I've heard venting, right? Everybody always says you're not vented well enough. I doubt that's the case there.
Yeah, there were vents. We replaced one new vent. Not that we needed to, just because it was like a spidery black substance in there, like a lead, rock hard. Couldn't chisel it out. We thought, cut it out. You know, we'll cut it out. So we did replace from the clean out to the very first floor drain, which is probably 7 feet. We cut all that out.
It seems like maybe modern day building materials aren't quite as good as.
And that was available
Ancient
then
building
when that was done.
materials.
Why didn't they use it? Why didn't they use ABS or PVC?
If you look at the capital reconstruction down in Cheyenne, the Hirschler building was built exactly 100 years later than the Capitol. And when they redid all that, basically they took the entire Hirschler building down to just the floors and the pillars that held the floors up. Because everything was junk.
Yeah.
And the Capitol was still good and solid. And it was 100 years before that.
Yeah.
Because Eric Johnson and I went down and toured that. I couldn't believe it. But
Drain pipe cleaner.
Yeah. Well, we use stuff that's 4 times more powerful than Drano. If you pour, like say it was plugged, you poured acid in, didn't do anything, gave it a couple hours, flush it with water, vacuum the water out because it won't drain, right? Your clothes were ruined after when you went back, put snake down.
Yes.
So.
That stuff is no joke.
5-gallon bucket of baking soda wouldn't save nothing.
But anyway, that's done.
How
now.
many
Just
days did
waiting
you
on
have
the
in?
floor to get patched, so thank God.
Yeah, thank you guys.
7?
What's that?
7 total days, full
So
days.
was the kitchen down for a certain amount of time?
Well, the kitchen, no, would have been, I work 3 days a week, so then that means it's sat for 4, and then we came back, and so.
So essentially, we
They've
just had
been
to adjust
troopers.
doing different types of meal plannings, have been getting,
PJ.
sandwiches.
Go to
Right.
the schools.
And we considered like food open, right? That's when they're preparing it or they're putting it in trays. And, we put like pop-up easy up in there with plastic and use vacuum. So we had no dust while food was open is what we were calling it. So,
Very well done.
they didn't give us no grief. They're like, it is what it is, when you gotta be done. That's about it.
I think the ladies down there were just so happy not to have the stank and everything that's still down there. It's just, do what you guys need to do, and they did a phenomenal job getting it done fast. We were in talks with the Moose about trying to use their kitchen, because the timing of the issue, never a good timing on anything, but
Yeah.
couldn't use the schools, because schools are going back in
Oh,
session.
gosh, yeah.
Yeah, and the
Agriplex was
Agriplex was
booked.
already booked. So we were kind of scrambling around to find out who had an industrial kitchen we could
Hi-Tune
use.
lady, let's go.
Yeah, I think they were a state fair.
Yeah.
So the Moose, future possibility, but hopefully we don't have to worry about that for another 26, 27 years.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, no, kudos to these guys, they worked their butts off and did it the right way and did it how it was to be done.
Yeah, big attaboy, big attaboy.
That's the kitchen. I did receive the fixtures for the showers in D-Pod. I just got with Ward and told him that.
Okay.
So we will be installing those Monday or Tuesday. So that's just like a half-day project. They'll just lock the mates down and we'll go in and knock them out. So then that whole pod rental will be totally finished. That was the last piece of that. So, and I got them maybe Monday, I think. So,
We're thinking 30 inmates a day, there probably won't be another one this year. Unless something turns around.
Unless a miracle happens, I wanna hold your breath, but
learned a lot on this one. And
I will sell the heck out of Platte County for what I got.
so,
Are people just being good? Why not? Why aren't
They're
people
shifting
good?
their focus on what they're attacking right now.
Like no ice in this area.
The biggest portion is ice, and yeah, we're an ice holding facility, but they're only short term, so any money that comes in from them is gonna be sent off to their destination spot, so having any long-term stuff. There's a lot of bigger issues going on that are way out of our pay grade to get this going, but I'm thinking about doing a, car wash system every Sunday, bring everybody in.
You can pay more for them to take off the bulletproof vests.
We've been thinking about, the bikini car wash, pay us to put the clothes back on.
Pay you to put more back on,
That's
Tony?
the idea, yes.
Yeah.
So the jail was our main focus for a couple of weeks there. We're back over on the library roof, or on the library fixes and stuff.
Water damage.
Those have been, the 3 rooms are done.
Make it through the last couple of rainstorms.
Yes,
Well,
we have one small leak in the makerspace room, but they're here today to find that spot. I talked to Ryan yesterday or the day before, 2 weeks, they'll be here to redo that whole roof. So,
We got 3 days before winter.
yeah, they do have the Coleman building done, so I haven't heard anything. Haven't heard any water coming in over there, so we're good. We probably have we got some tiles in the main space of the adult section on the fiction side to get fixed up yet. I've been sending Rob with LGLP the pictures and that stuff. So today I'll be sending the the time we have, the labor we have into that, so. Malcolm, and do you want all that stuff as well?
No. I mean, as long as they're taking care of it, if you have an issue where they're not taking care of something, then let me know.
Okay, I just sent it to him and then I haven't heard anything back from him, so I'm assuming that's all good, so.
We could go Thursday, I think it was Thursday, upstairs, HVAC, water, Sampson. You met Eli up there, what happened?
So, we're still working with that one unit, not anymore. We've, fixed it. I had, Levi, my HVAC guy, come in and we walked through it after, after Eli.
Sheet Metal Solutions,
I met with him too. The P-trap for all of those air conditioners or all those units is about 6.5 feet away. We found the book. The installation guide says the P-trap has to be within a foot. So, and they're not true P-traps that are under the ceiling or under the floor, above the ceiling. They're just like they're 290s.
so how'd the water get in the duct
So, because it was sucking back.
on the return side? Okay.
It was holding the water up, not until the pan would overflow and not draining out the drain.
Right.
And then, so we've got, that's all level, that whole system's leveled up again.
So it was faulty installation.
Yep, yep. And the guy from Sheet Metal, that's why the pan was broke. And he did find 2 more pans that were cracked and broke. And he was going to go back to his boss and find out if they would warranty those, because it's obviously an installation problem.
You're talking about the internal fans?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and I was gonna bring that one today to show you, but I forgot it. But, I had Levi order us one in and we got it in and so, and we put a P-trap that the installation guide asks for that one. So we should not have any more problems with that one.
You know, it's amazing what installation issues can cause down the road.
Yeah. Agreed.
And they may not show up like in the first week or so.
Right.
But down the road motors, that's when they show up and that's when they're expensive.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the day it was hung.
Yep.
That's after the warranty.
Exactly.
Always.
Always. Yep. So.
Lord?
Have you thought about an inspection before they seal it all up?
That would be good. We haven't been given that opportunity the last 3 Sampson jobs, so that would be good. A walkthrough.
Who would be in charge of that?
Just have to ask.
This commission here?
Somebody could just say, hey, your 90 days are starting, you wanna walk this?
And we did do that. But
I don't know how that could have been done when they left before the buildings were completed.
But we did a walkthrough with them.
So a lot of that stuff is the architect, they'll have inspectors that come look and, because there's not that expertise here necessarily, right? And so it's supposed to be in the architect's realm. But I can't say that that was the best experience, obviously, in the last job.
Okay, but at the end of the day, who owns it?
You know, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, absolutely right.
So what about the Coleman building carpet?
So, it definitely had the spots were pretty bad.
Yeah.
Valente and I went over there
Yeah, that's basically.
Tuesday.
Yep.
And put a bunch of chemical, our carpet cleaning stuff and scrubbed the living tar out of it. Today it looks pretty darn good. So, I would say give us another, till the next meeting.
What's it look like just to replace a carpet there?
They don't make that carpet anymore.
So that would be the entire.
That's the whole, that whole end of the building, well, that whole building is done on that carpet and they don't make that
And it's
There was no rims left over when it was laid or anything like that for,
Nope,
cause that's all over concrete, so it's a glue down
It
over
is a
concrete,
glue
I
down.
would guess.
No pad?
no pad,
No pad.
no
I'm
pad.
surprised it hasn't come out.
So it's only,
Legitimately, I'm surprised you can't burn that away with like,
It gets where it looks pretty good, then it just tracks the dirt again. It
I'd
gets
say we done
dark.
that about 8 years ago.
I wonder if it's because the coatings come with like coatings on them now to kind of repel the dirt and stuff like that, and all this stuff has made it oil ate away that coating. Who knows?
So, Mr. B's had his carpet cleaner come in, and he was up here 3 times and, tried it, and I feel like we done a better job
Probably.
Tuesday than he did.
Just,
But,
just from what you guys said, our drain cleaner's 4 times better than anything you can buy. I believe that.
That's
I believe
safe,
that.
but
Yes, yeah.
So, that would be my plan is, I wanna get a little one more time or a couple more times and see if we can't get it out to where it's,
Like really strong hydrogen peroxide. Does a very good job on grease.
we use, it's a peroxide based,
Yeah,
cleaner that we used.
probably the best.
We have another one it's called DMQ, and it's a neutralizer, and a disinfectant. So neutralize the grease with the peroxide, it kind of bubbles a little bit, and then we suck it with our vacuum or our flow machine. So that's kind of where I'm at with that one.
And then you had a leak in the roof of this building.
Yes, and I did not bring those, I did get with Malcolm, I've taken a bunch of pictures for him, to give him, it didn't leak this last time, I think. Jimmy's.
You still holding your breath?
When we went up there, so that happened the first day, I came in on Friday, and I took 90 gallons of water off the floor and out of the buckets that we collected overnight. So, then,
Then that was miscommunication between Sampson and Sub.
I would assume so, yeah. It was where they had cut out around the drain on the roof,
So the sub cut a drain out and Sampson wasn't prepared for it to be opened.
I believe. So,
So what kind of damage are we talking about there?
I believe there will be some walls that'll have to be, fixed, maybe some, seals around the window that the water sat on and splashed on, and
Let's get them on it before they get to be kind of
so,
long in the tooth, you know what I
yep,
mean? Yeah.
I gotta get Malcolm those pictures, and, I did get a hold of Eli that morning that I was in here, and we went and looked at it, and so he told me that they would take care of it, so. I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that Malcolm knew, so I told him, and I will get him all the pictures that I have of that. So,
Yeah, we have,
Malcolm told me to take lots of pictures, and when I think I have enough, take some more. So that's
right.
what I did.
And no selfies.
Yeah, exactly.
and we haven't had an OCA meeting since then, so we'll
So,
have
yeah,
one next Thursday.
so I will have those pictures over to him before then, so.
Once I get those, then I'll start a claim with our insurance. Our insurance won't be responsible, but they'll advocate.
Mm.
If it escalates to a claim on their builder's risk insurance, if it's something that they don't just take care of. So, anyway.
They might just eat it,
That's what I'm thinking. Be
because if
cheaper
they
just
roll
to-
it into their builders, yeah, they don't wanna look at that premium
Yeah,
and what it does to them.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to just eat it, fix it and eat it. Cause even a company that big, you can get to a point of like, guess what, guys, guess what your insurance is gonna cost you now?
yeah.
I covered everything. Can you think of anything that I haven't?
not that we're working on this coming up.
Hopefully,
Jail maybe in the future.
That was an all hands on deck, we had everybody shovel and the jail when we was doing that, everybody in the.
which shovel is your favorite shovel now?
Yeah, we was jackhammering the dirt to get it loose enough to dig it out and put it in a
They got
And it can-
96% compaction when they,
They
you
nailed
could
it.
not dig, you couldn't dig.
Yeah, they nailed it.
So I guess in retrospect, seeing people carry buckets of dirt outside of the jail is probably something interesting, so.
You should have had that on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
2 more days, we'll be out.
2 more days.
I do have Anderson, carpet or flooring, they'll be up the next day or two, and we'll look at, getting the flooring redone on it, so. But the concrete's in, it's set, they're using it, so
Probably have to wait 28 for it to fully cure before they can do whatever to it.
probably,
Yeah.
so.
You saturate it back.
No, we ordered.
We
You
ordered.
order drill mud?
Yeah, it was like 600, what was it, 680, 670 for sacks and
A yard, yeah.
now though, regular concrete's $180 a yard.
Don
I'm
was
getting
just
in
in here.
concrete business,
They, 200 in Douglas,
really.
220 in Douglas, yeah.
Yeah,
before
we
you get
borrowed
delivery.
it back in there.
Man, not long ago, it was $60 a yard.
I remember that. I remember that very well.
So it was cheaper to order a yard with the short pour fee than buy the concrete. And we didn't have to mix 70 sacks.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Still, as expensive as it is, it's cheaper in sacks.
It takes a lot of money to make a big rock.
Well, and by not doing sacks, you don't have any chance of a cold joint anywhere.
Right.
It just won't happen. It's continual
I think
pour it.
that's all I have, so if you have anything else,
Thanks, Jim.
we'll cover. Alrighty, thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, we'll move on to our courthouse project.
So I sent you everything. In OAC meetings, a few proposals. So as we discussed about early on defining a scope. And we prioritized what needed done first, and then after that, sort of the wish list that if we could do it, this is what we would need to do. And the goal is to prioritize this list of proposal requests and RFI information. So number one is number one. There's
It's gonna
no,
have to be
There-
number one.
That has to happen.
there is no negotiating
Right.
that one. And
No.
so, anyway, otherwise the parapet, without being reinforced, is gonna fall. Okay, so, and that's how we had the issue with the open roof, which wasn't supposed to be open, but anyway. And then the question would be what order these fall into.
And back to number one, they're still on T&M with an estimate, right?
Yeah, so this roughly 75 to 100,000 can be paid within the current budget from unforeseen circumstances. And that's why you carry some unforeseen
Right.
areas, right? And so thankfully, those are built into the budget, so that's gonna be covered. So the current contract is just shy of 3.1 million. There's 136,000 in contingency, which should probably be held a little longer, in my opinion. And then the question is, what order these would come in? I would say that this would be number 2, after the parapet.
That's just, yeah, that has to happen.
This would be number 3. That's for Eric Johnston's blister.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of it as.
And then this one, there is some aesthetic in it, but I do think that the dispatch vestibule is more than just aesthetics. That is a security concern, that's a HVAC concern. I think that has to be done. The prisoner entrance I'm struggling with a little bit because that's a lot of it aesthetic unless you go with the alternate, which extends the prisoner holding all the way to the alley. Then that alleviates a security concern. I was surprised, and they explained this to Jeb and I, that the alternate was only 31,000 more, considering it would go the entire length as opposed to like a 10-foot chunk being enclosed. And they said, it's the same masonry work. It just is the finishes that change at that point. So it's just drywall,
I didn't buy all that.
a little
Not for
sprinkler,
that kind of money, I didn't buy all that.
but anyway.
That's what, yeah.
That's what's in front of you. You're somewhat prioritized, and it just gives Jeb and I direction as we go back to Sampson to say, here's the list. Start formalizing actual change orders. And I think the real big question is whether you want to proceed with this, change its scope, and whether you want to proceed with this. I think that that's something we could probably wait a little bit longer on
I agree.
and see how how the parapet goes.
Mhm.
If we have that contingency left, I think that's probably a good use.
Because that T&M, estimate on that parapet, that was driven from one spot. And we don't know what the other side's gonna look like, or the other wall's gonna look like, until you get there. And it might be less, and it might be worse, but you don't know.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, because it's just that one spot, that's all it is.
In our discussion, so the public approved 4.25 million to be collected for phase 2, and then there was a little caveat that you could use it for repairs to other county buildings, but the primary question was phase 2 of the courthouse. Currently, the contract is just under 3.1. If you added those proposals that you looked at, this would be your contract number. So you're still falling below, I did mention that, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. So in those discussions, you had really set a $4 million budget for the courthouse and $250,000 for other repairs, which were
Yes.
a little bit over on that, but we had talked about using some interest that was gained to cover the rest of the library repair. And just for reference, our interest to date on the investments is $48,000, and we'll have at least another $18,000 that matures in January in interest.
Instead of paying a bonding company,
Right.
that us,
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're actually way ahead by the
we're
way.
like $500,000 to $700,000 ahead.
And part of this, I show the full tower coming out of this fund, but we had talked about using 911 funds to purchase the antennas and potentially the installation. And so that would be the absolute max if we didn't use any 911.
Okay.
So suffice it to say, long explanation to tell you, I think you'd have the budget, I know you'd have the budget to approve all of them if you chose to.
The T&M on parapet is what is a big question.
And that's why I would,
So I pulled back on the monument restoration.
Yes.
The parapet, with it being T&M and not knowing, and then but the water in the front, that's an absolute.
Yes.
It's dug up, it's there, it's
Yes.
exposed, fix it.
Yes.
and that,
100%.
so you're talking about this one, that also includes repairing that file room. So
Yes.
just
Mhm.
cementitious coating, it's not like it's finished, it's just cleaned up to where doesn't look
Yes,
like a
that-
murder room.
What do you call it, stop the crumble?
Ha.
So I think, based on the construction meetings, the order would be number one, number 2, 3, because this one and this one have some level of structural component.
Yes.
Mhm.
This one is low dollar amount for high impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and we're doing it, let's do it. I would say then this one is next, and these two are purely
The best,
aesthetic.
the number 2 is after, yeah, number 2, that would be lower.
Two becomes 6.
2 does,
I think 2 becomes 4,
yes, right.
and then the monument restoration
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah,
should
yeah,
become
okay.
5 and 6.
Yes. Yeah, so it'd go 1, 3, 5, 2, 2, 4, 6.
So currently, Sampson believes they have enough in their unforeseen budget to cover the parapet issue.
Go through your odds and then cover your evens.
If they don't, there's still 136, almost 37,000 for contingency. And so let's say they don't use the contingency for the parapet repair. I think at that point you authorize it for the monument restoration. But I do believe that you proceed with, and you're not making a formal decision here. You're just you're really giving Jeb and I a roadmap to tell Sampson what order to number these change orders.
Yeah.
The change orders are official action. I have news though. This one's going without,
Yes.
that Sampson can't leave that the way it is.
So odds then evens, 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6.
Works
And
out well.
that metal cap that they're talking about for that parapet, that won't go on here. That's included in the roof bid.
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay, so
And already part of it.
yeah, I had to dig that out and look, cause I thought now the metal that they're gonna cap that with come off the roof bid, not the parapet repair bid.
Yes, no double pay for that. Okay. That's just flashing, it goes on top of it, sheathing or whatever they call it now,
Well,
a cap.
yeah, because of that cap, yeah. I thought I had that original with them numbers in here, but I know where it is now.
So you got all that, Malcolm?
Yeah, as long as you guys are,
Yeah, I think so.
okay.
So,
And do you want to proceed with the alternate then, that has an increased security component, or,
and that's the extended length of the,
that's the difference, it's just, you would extend the prisoner holding all the way to the alley, so I don't really want to say this, but you can't have somebody hide inside the walkway, basically, going to the prisoner holding. And it solves some maintenance issues.
Saves $20 a month in the winter.
last winter didn't save anything.
Didn't save anything, that's right. I think it'd be nice.
That was before the project, kind of the list of priorities. Is that still your list, priority list? And I think we have enough to tell them.
Okay. And then, what's the schedule for the base for the tower?
So let's see.
I'd expected a hole to be dug by now.
Yeah, so find out.
End of August. And August kind of rhymes with September.
Yeah, we're getting really close to the end of August.
So the issue was, I got an email, so I've been rattling what's going on. And then they clued me in on an email from Sabre, which is the tower company. The bolts that were supposed to connect to the foundation didn't get shipped, and so they shipped on the 17th.
The J-bolts?
Mhm.
So that's what's holding us up?
Yeah, but, so the rebar cage is totally built.
That's a we're not ready, send them this as an excuse.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Anyway, they have the rebar cage built, and I have pictures of that. They asked me for Jim McCauley's phone number, so I know they're starting to coordinate with him. So I do think it's getting close. They still anticipate early September.
So basically, dig the holes, set the rebar cage in for the concrete, because there really is no form.
No. And with the cage built, they were asking about using some equipment from Sampson to set the cage, which is already on site, so they don't have to worry about that mobilization
Does
cost.
that come off our costs or their?
Yeah, it comes off the tower cost.
Okay.
Cause that mobilization is lower.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just curious because I expected there to be a hole there.
Yeah, I get,
At least.
you know, I get they want a 10-foot hole to cave in if they're gonna use the size of forms, you know. But yeah. Yeah, seriously. Don't worry, those cobbles won't move. If a glacier couldn't push them any further, neither will gravity.
Okay, do we have anything else?
We talked about the superintendent vacancy. I think we've got that clear. Work on, getting that posted in multiple locations. And I'll notify the applicants that, you're not quite ready to interview.
If Steve has that conversation in hand, then I'm okay with that.
What's that?
If you have had a conversation with the crew
Yeah,
in hand, then I'm okay with that.
I talked to him Monday. So,
Yeah.
just to make sure everybody had a plan, I knew what was going on, so you could continue service, so.
Who's one of those people,
Mark.
Mark and Dale?
So, all right, do we have any further business today? We will consider ourselves adjourned. Thanks.
Freddie?